Hello Roftwood, it's me, Zombie GG with the Roftwood Coordination Center, proudly presenting you with another post-apocalyptic production I like to call an RCC Fireside Chat. This is the fourth and final part of my series with Johnny P. Baraga, a player whose contributions to Urban Dead both in-game and on the wiki are nothing short of colossal. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. So you and Stellar created the Scourge?
Yeah, I poked her for the idea. I was like, hey, you wanna grab a new account? Because I've still got a leveled zombie, so I can try and feed you. And at the very beginning, she probably told you this in the Scourge series. I can't quite remember. The very beginning, it was just the two of us, and I remember we had horrible hit rates, combined with the fact that we simply didn't have a large AP pool. We didn't have a lot of people. There weren't any other people in the first few days. And then we got Bob to join us, and we started breaking into buildings. That was fun for a bit, and then we started experimenting, but the strikes were fairly slow. I mean, there were only 3 of us, and we weren't used to the RRF regimen.
So the Scourge were founded in June 2016. So EBD, like May 2016, you guys hit group stats page, July 2016. And then in Scourge pops up June 2016. Man, what a powerful year for Urban Dead.
Yeah,
A lot of activity going on, a lot of fun stuff.
I'm convinced it's one of the reasons the game's still going at this point, that we did that at that point. Because it's a bit before Baraga.com went down, and that really took a chunk out of the undead players. Because suddenly zombies didn't have this central rallying point anymore.
Wow, I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah, and I know that Moloch had this attitude of like, how did this survivor-led zombie horde become the leading touring zombie horde? First of all, I wasn't a survivor. The account that started it was an RRF trained zombie. It was me.
Yeah, under the Irishman Papa.
Yeah, a former member of his beloved Team America.
That's pretty cool, man.
And we never really devolved into a rivalry, because one of the first people who joined us for a bit was a very famous RRF member and another person of the game who I respect immensely, and that's Bosch. Because at the very beginning we had this maximum AP pool, 150 AP, 3 people. And with those 150 AP we had to find a target, break in, and try to empty and ruin it. And we took it very slowly. Compared to RRF raids, we were very slow. I remembered parts of how things were done at Team America back in the day, but I didn't have it in my fingers anymore. And then Bosch came along and was like, okay, what if we throw caution out the window and we all just go nuts? Before Bosch, we went one by one, which means that I would drop 30 AP, then I would have Bob drop 30 AP, and then usually we were inside and we could try and feed Stellar's character, which we were trying to feed. It's a decent way, but if you do it like that, then one defender can hold you off. If one person logs in, he can Kate walk you out, and your strike will just fizzle out. And then Bosch came along and like, okay, fuck caution. You kill the barricades. You wait, we're gonna feed you. And suddenly we were breaking buildings left, right, and center. We were getting new members in. Stellar and me were very involved with promoting the Scourge. So a lot of the new zombie players found their way to us instead of to a couple of established hordes and other hordes. Like I remember Feral Clouder was still a big factor back then, and of course the RRF.
Yeah, long-standing badass group.
And I was the first. We took a couple of things from the RRF. Like I was the first papa of the Scourge, and then I passed on the title fairly soon in the existence of the Scourge, long before we became a household name, to Stellar, and she became the first mama.
Wow, what an interesting hierarchy.
Yeah, and she still is the leader of the Scourge to this day.
Rotting Rita.
Yeah, and she has made the Scourge, she has made a transfer from IRC, which we started on, to Discord, which was a big move. We were, as far as I can remember, we were one of the first that actively made a decision to, okay, we're migrating to Discord. It's a major game changer for us.
It was, man. I think Discord kind of is super also responsible for keeping Urban Dead going.
Absolutely. And then I faded out again a bit, and then I got the infamous email from Rita and Bob. Well, Stellar and
The
Bob.
reach out.
I'm gonna see if I can find the email. I think they emailed me through. They tried to track me down in real life, like through bits and pieces that I dropped.
That's like dedication and heart right there, man. They really wanted you back. I wish I could kind of do that with Ron Burgundy. He's such an inspiration for me back when I first played on like what my 2006-2008 run on like NDG. Ron Burgundy. I loved the crowd and the action that guy just kind of existed in all the time. Everyone was always following him, and he was just going places and starting crazy shit, Battle of the Bear Pit and stuff. Just dropping text, like I think way more text than guns fired or anything, but I think his text was so effective in like the inspiration and the morale raising. People just loved logging in and seeing what the hell he was
Talking about,
freaking
yeah.
saying. It was so funny.
It's one of those things a lot of people tend to forget, a lot of survivor groups especially, and Moloch has a wonderful grasp of this. It's not so much about being hyper efficient, about your AP, or your group's AP, or exquisite planning. It's all about keeping people motivated. It's about creating a narrative, and different groups, the reason you join a certain group is not because they're the best, but because they say they're the best, and because they have a great atmosphere and great culture.
Yeah.
The Scourge and RRF get along very nicely. I currently, my main zombie, Baraga, has left the Scourge and is currently rolling with the RRF. I have created a new alt because I want to try and level up again for the first time in years, and that's the one that's currently with the Scourge. And there's this massive difference in culture, but we both like each other. There's a lot of overlap in membership, and there's the most obvious reason, the most obvious example I can think of difference in culture is how we execute our strikes. I can't say much about the methodology, but the introduction to a strike is what makes the atmosphere of the strike.
Introduction to the strike.
Yeah. If you're with the Scourge at strike time or just before strike time, the strike leader in both the groups will like rally the forces, people who have announced, yeah, I'll join in. And in the Scourge, it's usually Rita who will Stellar leads the strike, and she just goes by the couple names that she knows that this is their strike time. They've announced that they'll probably be there. She pings me 5 times because I'm an idiot who forgets stuff like that. And they're like, okay, is everybody ready? Yeah, should we wait a couple minutes more? It's like a very gentle, low-key, it's a chill vibe. And then I'm currently looking for it. Moloch started a strike earlier somewhere today, and his message before the strike is, wake the fuck up, strike team. It's 10 minutes to murder o'clock. That's like, yeah, it's like
Murder o'clock.
2 different, it's all caps, it's all caps, and it's like, let's fuck these people up.
It's pretty metal. The hype is just so like hardcore.
That's why both the Scourge and RRF exist next to each other.
They complement each other. For people who want to play that style, they can do that. People who want to do the other style. It's about that like community culture, whichever one you want to like put your flag in or whatever.
Yeah, that's why we have a lot of people. Well, a lot. We have a couple people who are both in the RRF and the Scourge, and why it's not just more of the same. If it was more of the same, then I can guarantee that the Scourge probably wouldn't have lasted this long, because when the RF joined Discord and when Moloch and Bosch and the other people start pouring back in and energy was coming back, and it's currently again a force to be reckoned with, like most of the olden days. You know that if the RF is in town, you're basically screwed.
Yes, flat facts.
But yeah, and
same thing with the Scourge. You guys are just like, I don't know, you're a war band. It's ridiculous. Hungry. and you come and you pillage all our brains and buildings, like super effectively and deadly. It's some undead evil shit. It's literally terrifying.
It's also mentality, like for the RRF, they're aiming for kills. They're aiming for war. For the Scourge, very early on we started tracking our ruins.
Yeah, you got that awesome trophy case.
Yeah, that's one of my wiki work. Like I started that, and then Rita and Bob kind of piled on. It's expanded way.
I can see your style. It's like your wiki art style, the like clean cut, easy to read style.
Yeah, I don't like the cluttered shitpost style group pages. That's not a group.
I love the like ... and again when you like ruin stuff. I remember like my fan fiction series I wrote, you guys were like releasing the trophies kind of alongside, and
yeah, that must have been depressing.
yeah, you guys crush Hildebrand Mall, and it's like, goddamn, then we rally all these people to like take it and then literally just eat it again the next day. It's just like, God. And you know how hard it is to continuously like raise morale after defeat after defeat after defeat?
Oh, I don't. We've never been defeated.
I've learned this. Hilarious. Nice. We've just adopted this gallows humor sense of comedy about it. You just do the best you can, or whatever. You're probably gonna die. It's like I don't know, try to keep our clothes clean, I guess, and try to keep people like breathing. It's I lost him. Yo, are you back?
Yeah, hello. Sorry, the headset cut out.
Okay, so before we start up again, I'm trying to remember where we're at. We're talking about
We were talking about January 2018 when we ruined Hildebrand Mall for the first time. Then 2 days later we ruined Woodruff Mall. Then 2 days later we ruined Hildebrand Mall again. And then 9 days later we ruined Hildebrand Mall again. You know, the usual.
oh yeah.
Well, for us. That was one hell of a streak, by the way. Stellar was awesome at that point.
You guys came back too, like later that summer into Roftwood, and much of the same, but this time we did the river tactics stuff, or that time we did. It's hard, man. It's hard to keep morale up when you guys are so deadly efficient. Your strikes are just like devastating.
Yeah, and that's again the perspective thing you talked about earlier. Because for the Scourge, that was the fun time. It was an awesome streak of things just going on, and everything went our way. And whichever building that Stellar pointed us at, it just crumbled. If you look at the pace, like in between January, the first time we ruined Hildebrand was January 29. And in between that and June 12th, we ruined Hildebrand 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, 2018, it was, you guys quickly became on our radar.
That's also what's like made our name.
You guys like whipped us in shape too. It was really fun playing against it. I have a lot of screenshots of like logging in like in the middle of strikes and stuff, like in my fan fiction series. It's crazy the timing. It's so messed up. You just log in and it's like I'm literally being eaten alive like 11 seconds ago, and all these zombies are in this hospital right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god! That happened on multiple occasions.
And in between there was like 5 or 6 times we ruined Hildebrand. We ruined Fort Creedy once, the Birch we ruined twice, and then 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6 other malls in between. Fort Perrin, Fort Creedy, like the pace at that point was amazing, and we've never really let off that pace. The thing is, now we are pursuing our goal of ruining every building in Malton once, and at a steady pace of like 30 to 40 buildings each week, which is amazing. But, and this is a very big but, we might have to divert from that at some point, because the buildings we focused on early on were malls, were populated malls, were famous buildings. We were like adding to our trophy case. And the reason we went for those buildings is that they were populated. They were fun. You could raise your baby zombies up to be full-grown death machines.
Yeah, they're like farms.
Yeah, I've never been in a zombie group that looked at an area and thought like, yeah, we're going through it once and then we're coming back once they've replenished. The RRF, I think Moloch said this as well, they never looked at it as farming. They looked at it as like salting the earth. For them it was a war of attrition.
Jeez.
And for the Scourge, it was more like, we'll go where it's fun. And if you're putting up a fight, I know from the survivor side, it's hell. Because oftentimes you have no perspective of what's happening on the other side or what they're planning. While we can very simply see your perspective, like, hey, a lot of lights go on at the east of the suburb. I wonder where they are.
Yeah.
And tell your group members to stop being in lit buildings, by the way. It's
Yeah, tactical resource points.
guys, the game's been going for 14 years. It should be clear by now that lit buildings are not safe houses.
Yep.
We are flies. Zombies are flies. We see light, we fly towards it, and we eat it.
I learned that the hard way. I wrote about it in my fan fiction. It took me like 3 deaths in like 1 week. I was pretty noob to the actual technical parts of the game, and like when I first came back in 2017, like I don't know, I literally thought that I had an increased accuracy chance in a lit building, because I knew I had a decreased accuracy chance in dark buildings, so I just thought that like, oh, well, it must mean I have more accuracy in a lit building. So I just like hang out in any building that was lit, and if anyone like, I just immediately have an initiative to, I don't know, have a better hit chance if combat needed to go down. But then I learned that there is no increased accuracy. I'm not that smart, man, but I like the game. It's fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I still discover stuff about this game, especially if it's from a site you haven't played in a while or you haven't played at all. PKers probably have the experienced and good PKers probably have like the best meta understanding of the game. They know the mechanics probably the best because they have to use them a lot more than, for instance, zombies. The biggest danger to a zombie actually is like a populated dark building.
Damn.
Because it's annoying. It's an AP sink.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Well, I'm gonna have to round this conversation up, although it pains me because I really love this.
Dude, it was a cool conversation. I'm sure we'll do another thing at another point in time. Thank you for the time and the stories. You've educated me a lot in your contributions, and I promise I will start cleaning up Roftwood's wiki danger updater.
Yeah, spread the news. Spread the news. I mean, it's an amazing tool, and it's fun to see, like, you can see a red moving blob. Take the hint. Take the hint.
Yep. Alright, brother. You have an excellent rest of your day, and we will catch up later.
Likewise. See ya.
Peace. Hello again, Roftwood. This concludes my series with Johnny P. Baraga, a player whom I have grown to respect for their mature perspectives, tactical insights, and overall contributions to Urban Dead both in-game and on the wiki. This RCC Fireside Chat is a post-apocalyptic production proudly presented to you by the Roftwood Coordination Center. I'm Zombie GG, and as always, Roftwood, the pleasure's been mine.